Hey, Tej here. Today we're taking a look at technical analysis for Ethereum. I'll cover wave analysis with Elliott Waves theory and provide multiple scenarios price may take and explain why I prefer one count over another. Let's take a look at the higher time frame first. Starting here on 1 hour time frame, well, not too high time frame, but again looking at the count starting from the mid-June's around the 19th, and the bear scenario has been this where we have this as a possible 5-way structure into a possible wave A. Again, this could be turning into a wave 1, but looking at Bitcoin, I don't think that is that likely to be the case. So that's why I still have this as an ABC instead. The bear scenario is still valid as well, having this as a 3-way structure into W, 3 ways into X, and then another 3-way structure getting right at the 1-to-1 extension here for that wave C and completing that wave Y. So there are definitely both bull and bear scenarios here present, and at the moment for this count at least we would be looking for, depending on your view, at least the 90%, or possibly we are already done here, but again if we are thinking that this could be an A wave of a flat pattern, then we would need to get down to these $1,000 areas. But again, we don't need to do that. We could be looking for this as a W wave of higher time frame and then creating X and then Y higher. Now, those are the higher time frame structures, and again, looking for some kind of partner leg here, or the B wave or the second structure for those kind of structures. On the higher time frame, we got a few different options, unfortunately. One of them is very much more bearish, which is again not to my liking, to be honest. For this one, again, we would be looking this as a wave 1, wave 2, 3, 4, and then 5, possibly ending at these lows though. Why I don't like this is because, again, this would be a wave 1 of something higher time frame, because we did not take out the lows here, and I don't think that there is going to be any kind of a truncation or anything. I do think that having this as a 5-way move would mean that this was going to be a wave 1 and wave 2 upwards, and then massive downfall to come. But again, I don't think that is most likely, just because the extensions of on third wave, although it is possible for us to get a structure in here, to me it is very much less likely that third wave is actually smaller than the first structure over here. So yeah, I don't really like it for that reason. The other scenario is, if we still want to have this as a 5-way structure, we would be having this as an ABC overall, ending at these lows. The structure here onto the 5th, however, on smaller time frame, is actually a 3-way structure, so we would have to be moving these up a bit, maybe squeezing in some of the counts up in here, but we'll see if that is going to be working out or not. Now, what I do think is the most likely scenario is having this fit very well with the overall sentiment that we are getting at the moment, is that we would have this as a WXYXZ. Now, whether the X wave is actually done or we are within some kind of complex correction here, I'm not quite sure. At the moment, it does feel pretty good with the size difference here, comparing this X wave to this X wave and having this as a possible wave Z. Again, it does not mean that Z wave has to be done. If we are looking and comparing this current structure that we have here against Bitcoin, and especially on smaller time frames here on ETH, we definitely think that this structure here is a 5-way structure. And on Bitcoin, we are expecting this kind of structure here before getting a partner leg for this first one. So it is still possible that this Z wave is actually going to be a structure that we are missing the partner leg of this one after we have created a structure like this here. So we'll look into that in just a moment in smaller time frame, but I feel like that is going to be my main idea here, or main scenario. If we are comparing the Z wave as well on time against the W wave, we can see that it should be already completing soon-ish. Now, we don't want to be going too far with the extensions in time. As we have seen, these have been pretty short in time, these wave W and wave Y. So we are kind of looking for Z wave to be somewhat similar in size as well. Now, before looking into this smaller time frame, as mentioned, it is possible that Z wave is already done, and we would have this as some kind of three-way structure in here, or even something like that. Probably better look. So yeah, it is completely possible that Z wave is done, and now we would be looking for a partner leg for this first structure, whatever it was, from here on out. So this would again be the most bullish count. We'll see later on how that is going to be turning out, but again, on the smaller time frames, let's take a look at what we got here. Let's turn off this count for now. So what we got here is again the very similar structure that Bitcoin has. It is not very clear on these 15 minutes and or even 5 minutes and upwards, because we don't have divergence at these ends. So what we would be looking for this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in here, and then some kind of three-way structure in here. Again, not very clear at all. I do think that we might have something like that, a connector wave, and another three-way structure. So I would be liking to just label this as a WXY for now, and maybe get back into it if we need to. Here on ETH, we did not take out the highs here, like we didn't in Bitcoin either. But again, this is very much more closed down in Bitcoin, the retracement upwards part. So this definitely feels more like a flat structure. It is still possible that this is a five-way structure like we have it labeled as in Bitcoin, but both of them are actually expecting this to be a five-way structure here. A flat here, again, C wave is 5 waves, and so would be the zigzags C wave. So it does not really matter which part or how we're going to be labeling this either. So again, just due to the structure I'm seeing here, I would be labeling this as some kind of a W, X, and Y as well. Looking at the extension targets here, we see that we are very close to the 1-to-1 here. I think we just missed it here on ETH. Got it perfectly on Bitcoin though, so that is all fine. So yeah, that is the A wave here, and then looking for that B wave and then C wave, and this would be submicro. And now again, we would be looking for C wave. We would have some targets again here, looking for that here, and 1-to-1 target would be pretty much the ideal. Trying to take out the wave A here, and definitely this area again is the target. 1260 to 1230 would be my ideal long positions, where I'm definitely interested in longing. I did not take this ETH short as I was just playing with Bitcoin. I probably should have taken this as well. I can't really get a good looking structure here on smaller timeframes unless I want to be saying 1-2, 1-2. So it was a bit different than in Bitcoin. That didn't have either a good look in it. But yeah, that is something that I'm expecting. Again, this five-way structure down to that C. Now, if we are looking at some retracement targets as well, this golden pocket fits right around the 1.236. So I feel like that is, plus of course the 0.5. Those are both very valid looking structures or valid looking areas for long positions. So definitely looking at those. Now, if we are just looking at the very small time frames, so we can get some kind of confluence here, definitely looking 5 wave-ish. Do we have overlap? Does not really matter. I guess we could be getting that some kind of a diagonal here if needed. The highest RSI is here though, so I'm a bit hesitant to say that this was the high. I do think this might be the area where we would have the diagonal on Bitcoin. But yeah, it definitely can start earlier here. So if this indeed is a 5-way structure, I would be labeling this as the 3-wave. And then again, most likely I would be labeling this as a, well, that looks a bit odd. 5-3, and then this looks like a 5-wave though. We have to be assumed that we have an invisible wave 4 here on smaller time frame. So let's start labeling these in. So this is 1-2 of minuscule, and this definitely can't be a 3rd wave because again, how small it is. Of course, we could have this as some kind of diagonal here, but I don't think that is the most likely scenario. So instead of that, so let's just keep it simple and have this as another 1, 2 of another subminute or a minuscule count, and then this definitely feels like it could be a third wave here. Yeah, we tagged the 1.618 perfectly here, so that is definitely a possibility for a third wave. And now looking for that fourth wave, it definitely has the potential of ending here. I can't really see a good structure here, so we might be creating a bit larger structure in here, some kind of consolidation here before we drop, as this here is actually the highest part, unless we have created some kind of A, B, and then C with a ending diagonal here. That is of course possible. We did not get any expanding structures here or overlapping structures larger, so I do feel like this could be a, yeah, this is double zigzag here though, so we have a complex correction here already, so this could be actually a simple correction here and completed with this diagonal here as the C wave A, B and C. So that looks pretty good as is, and now we would be looking for a fifth here. What supports this as well, we are getting the lowest low here on RSI at the third wave most likely, so that would make sense, and now we would be looking for that divergence between the third and fifth here against the RSIs, and that would end the third here, and then again fourth and fifth, and that would most likely just be the wave 1 though. And of course at that point we'll see how much this retraces, and if there is a possibility of getting back into that short position. This is going to be very interesting, because this is definitely feeling like it's going to be very extended structure. I feel like we need to be getting quite deep into the retracement before we are going downwards to get any kind of good look here. So this whole structure just don't bleed out too bad and just invalidate this whole idea on higher time frame, because there is definitely a chance for that as well, because this structure that is building again here, the size of this wave 1 is seeming like it is quite big, just by eyeballing this wave 1 up top here, giving us some context here. 1.618 would be right around the 1.382 already, so maybe the third wave is not that extended that we would be expecting, but again that is just trying to figure out what kind of structure fits in here, and that is definitely another useless thing to do, as we haven't even gotten these wave structures yet formed. But yeah, I feel like that is pretty much the extensions or the expectations, sorry, for Ethereum. So overall, again, we would be looking for this kind of structure higher as an ABC, or that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with the thoughts of being that wave C on higher time frame. But that is pretty much again everything I want to share on ETH at this very moment. If you made it this far into the video, I would appreciate the likes. Link to my free Discord server in the description below, and for now I thank you for watching and hope you have an amazing rest of your day. See you next video, bye bye.